Good morning. Hello, I'm Christy with Heart of Texas Hospice, and this is the Richard Wilmore Show. On today's show, children's book author Izzy Anderson and music from Bruce, Guynn, and Big Rain. Hit it, Big Infinite.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door. It's the Richard Wilmore Show.
Take away your pain with Big Rain.
And now here's Richard.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Christy, I don't like COVID because I have to have my friends on my show to be able to see them and talk to them.
I know it's been very challenging.
I bet, especially in your line of work, I assume.
Yes.
How have you been?
Well, there's a whole new normal. Typically in my industry, I work in hospice and we do home care and home health as well. We're able to visit with families face to face and let them know how we can help their loved one. And now it's all changed. Yeah. So a lot of visiting through a screen door or a glass door with your mask, with your gloves, using appropriate PPE. But we're managing and we're not letting this virus put us in a state of fear. We're still here to help others and to serve others in the community. So we have just figured out a way to do it via Zoom calls, like I mentioned before, outdoor visits, or visiting through glass door.
Yeah, it's funny how quickly you adapt because you have to. I think you are one of the busiest people I see on Facebook and Instagram. You're everywhere at all times, helping as many people as you can and giving back. And it's not just the holiday season. I know that you're always working with the homeless population of San Antonio. How did you even start or realize or know that you were called to do that?
So about 7 or 8 years ago, I went to a service at Bandera Road City Church, which is now called City Church. And it had always been in the back of my mind that this is something that I wanted to do. And so every year for the past 7 years, we have done something every year. But pre-COVID, I used to take coffee under the bridge to serve 150 people and then also serve and collect clothing items. So each year has been a little different. First, we started out with blessing bags that consisted of beanies, gloves, chapsticks, snacks, so that they could get through, a few days, if anything. Last year, we collected 180 coats, and those went a long way. And this year, we're collecting blankets. And I had already collected about 70. And last week, when the temperatures dipped, we decided to take action and go serve them where they were. So we literally went and clothed and laid blankets on people sleeping in the street.
How are you still collecting blankets? Are people still able to?
Absolutely. Our goal is to raise at least 150 by the 20th.
Okay.
And they're gently used blankets, whatever you have. You can find me on Facebook under Christy Gonzalez. And then there's also a page called Friends Helping Friends Under Bridge. And that's been in existence for about 5 years. but you can either post and I can pick up, or you can host a box and wherever you're at, and I can pick up from you, whatever's easiest.
You're amazing, and I love watching you. And I want to. I've reached out to you a couple times, and it never works out with timing, or with COVID. You weren't doing some things because of COVID, but I really well, here. First of all, we have this. Wait, here they're gonna fall. I have these for you. So I have some things for you, and it's really just a ploy to see you. That's all I really wanted. It was just an excuse that I have to come
That's
see you.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is, you're choking me up. You're choking me up. Thank you.
You really, you inspire me, and I hope you're inspiring anybody who's watching this, because what you do is so selfless and so needed in your professional life. That whole hospice situation is such a sacred time in everyone's life, and it takes a very special person to even want to do anything with that. And I know how special you are, so I appreciate everything you do throughout the year.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're amazing. All right, before I start crying, I'll let you cry and I'll get you off camera. But before I start crying, we're going to listen to some music. Christy Gonzalez, find her on Facebook or Instagram. She's everywhere at all times. So she's probably right next to you right now if you're watching. And if you have a blanket, give it to her. And I want to go your next round with you.
Yes, thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
I'll see you later. She's one of the first people I met, actually, when I moved to San Antonio. She was co-hosting a radio show, and she had me on, and I walked in that room, and she walked in this room, and she's just this fabulous person, and I love her so much. She's so great. So anyway, before we're all crying, because it's 10 a.m. on a Monday, and that shouldn't be happening, we're going to get some music. So let's get Bruce Guynn in here. Hopefully the audio's all right. Hi, guys. Are you ready to rock?
Well, we're ready, man.
All right. I'm going to give it over to you. You have at it, and everybody enjoy.
All right. Well, let's have a big applause for Chrissy. Yeah. Helping people is a good thing to do. And in this day and age, we got to look out for each other and be kind. Kindness goes so far. We're going to do a little tune for you. 1, 2, 3. I go crazy when I see your smile. Kiss me, girl, take me to heaven. I go wild when I see your face. Love me, girl, take me to heaven. I miss you when I'm on the road. I want you by my side. Share this load. And well, it's hard to catch a break. Losing you would be my biggest mistake. Yes, it would. I go crazy when I see your smile. Kiss me, girl, take me to heaven. I go wild when I see your face. Love me, girl, take me to heaven. Tonight, yeah, all right. When I'm lost, can't find my way, you always know what to say to me, yeah. I go crazy when I see your smile. Kiss me, girl, take me to heaven. I go wild when I see your face. Love me, girl, take me to heaven. Take me there. Take me there now. Oh yeah. Take me there. Woo! Stu Hayden on the fiddle, folks. Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. I go crazy when I see your smile. Kiss me, girl, take me to heaven. I go wild when I see your face. Love me, girl, take me to heaven. Tonight, tonight, tonight. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Tonight, oh yeah, take me now. I go crazy when I see your smile.
And just so you all know, it's 8 a.m. in California, and they got up, traveled to the studio, set up, and they're doing this from California. I appreciate you guys so much. That was beautiful. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk to Bruce and Stu right after this.
Balls. Funny name, serious plant power, healthy whole food goodness in one single bite. Wineria SA. Let's enjoy some great vino together. Let's do a virtual wine tasting, enjoy exclusive artisan wines, and join the club. Neon Castaway. Handmade accessories for a colorful life. Teenus. Handcrafted, farm to cup, organic, quality. The Classic Theater, creating excellent theater in San Antonio, Texas that is relevant, diverse, entertaining, and transformative.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking to Bruce and Stu live from California. This is what I love about the virtual world. Is I get to talk to anybody that'll say yes to me, and I love it. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for having us. We're having a great time.
Oh, good. You can come back anytime, any week. You're invited. How long have you been performing in general and then together?
Well, I actually started performing in the mid-'80s as a professional musician. And but before that, I actually started kind of performing in my own bedroom as a little boy, about 6 years old. So
Welcome to my life.
it was Billie Holiday that turned me on to music.
Wow.
So
That's
and I just happened to hear a record. My mom had records in the house, and she had some Billie Holiday, and oh my gosh, when I heard that, it was the end of the world for me. It changed my whole life.
I bet. Isn't it interesting when there's just that one person or that one musician who like completely changes the trajectory of your entire existence, kind of?
Yeah, I think that's true with a lot of people, and I think sometimes they don't realize.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't even realize how profound it was until I was much older.
Mm-hmm.
Because after I heard her sing, I started diddling on a little piano, that we had in the house. It was a stand-up, an old one, hand-me-down from families and stuff. And had no idea what I was doing, but I just started singing melodies. I'd go places. I'd play by myself. I'd be singing. I'd be trying to sing those melodies, and didn't realize where it was coming from. I put the two and two together later on.
Were you singing before that, or was it really that moment that you were like, I want to do that?
the only time I remember really singing was after listening, about that age,
Mm,
6, 7, 8 years old, and then into my teens.
yeah.
You know.
Stu, what about you?
I had hard question to answer because I started. Actually, it's kind of an interesting story. I started picking the fiddle. My parents wanted me to play clarinet of all instruments. I went into the school. So I was 8 years old, and I told the orchestra director there that no, I don't want to play the clarinet. I want to play one of those. And I pointed to a violin, and he gave me a violin in a violin case. Back then, you could get the instrument from the school. It was wonderful. Took it, went home, and my parents looked at me with this look of glaring, I can't believe this, what is he playing? I think they had to put up with who knows how much time of listening to squeaks and squawks coming out of the instrument. But, it was just one of those things. I wanted to play that fiddle. And I didn't even know it could be anything but a violin until my grandfather kept telling me, hey, when are you going to play fiddle? When are you going to play fiddle? When are you going to play fiddle? And I'm like, well, what's fiddle? And he started playing different music for me. So it was an evolution of time, but it was something that I enjoyed learning, and obviously I've been playing it for many years.
Yeah. So you're making music, you're performing, you're touring, you're traveling, you have huge crowds, and then COVID happens, and I think Bruce and I were talking a couple weeks ago on the phone, and the way you guys have shifted into this virtual world is sort of astounding as someone who is attempting to do that. The way you guys have transitioned, can you talk about that? Because it's eye opening.
Yeah. I say first, my last real show was, I remember January 25th, and I remember showing up to the show with the guys, and I go, hey, whatever you do, don't drink anything out of the bars or anything like that. There's this really crazy disease going on. Be careful. And we did our show, and that was the last show we did after that COVID really kicked in. And then right about early March, I realized everything was canceled. Every concert date, every local show, every festival. I said, I got to do something. I got to do something for people, I got to do something to help. I just felt compelled to do something that made people's days better, because it was going to be a hard time. I mean, and for me to, and it helped me deal with it too. If I knew I was putting something out there in the world that could help people make their day a little better, then it was therapy for me at the same time, because I felt like it gave me a reason, to be, and otherwise, well, but you do music like for that reason anyway. If you get to a certain point in your career and it's not about you, it's about putting it out there for people and doing good things for people. So I'd already hooked up with Stu.
Yeah, in addition to that, it was interesting because while Bruce wasn't able to do it on the road, in the studio, I'm always doing recording and stuff like that. That dropped out too, because the people record because they can sell CDs or music when they're on the road. So the projects that I had were only a handful of people who happened to stream. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. They're still going to be able to get that music out there. So Bruce came to me and said, what can we do to start looking at what this new environment is, and what can we do to try to put a show together? Because Bruce and I have been working on a CD or been working on releases, And,
yeah. He's been.
We want to get that done.
We want to get
by
that
summer, right?
We got to release.
Yeah.
Well, we got to release a single now.
Yeah.
But I got together with him and a friend of mine named Toby Gray. He's a really wonderful musician locally here in the Aptos, Santa Cruz area. I called him one day. I said, I need a studio, Toby. Tell me where to go. And he said, call Stu. I called Stu. We hit it off like gangbusters, like my lost brother, And I walked into that studio, and it just felt right. I said, okay, I'll be in such and such. We'll make a record. I came in with my guitar, plugged me in, and we started recording. And then that progressed, and we created something really nice. I said, this is great. This is different than what I've done before. I'm really happy with this. This is cool. It's a new chapter in my songwriting and everything. So we just kept working on things. And one day I walked in and said, I got an idea.
And there you go.
I said, we got to reach people. I already put the new CD that I just came out with, and I said to all my followers, this is free to help you get through this bad time. I just gave the music away for a while because I wanted to give them something. I said, hey, just take this, and if this makes you feel better, great, I did something worthwhile. So anyway, I come back to Stu and I go, I got an idea. Let's make our own broadcast, our own show. We'll start our own network.
Yes.
You know me, I'm a dreamer.
Yeah.
But you got to dream. So we will have our own network someday.
And it's been fun because,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, it's not just like you flip a switch for this.
Right.
And you got to figure out how we're going to do it, what we're going to use to do it, how do
Yeah.
we do it. I mean, just like you're producing your show, you have to figure out what are the elements and how you're going to make that work and how you're going to keep it interesting.
Yeah. And
Because it becomes a whole new thing.
he's a technical genius, so in my opinion, compared to me, he is. And so we figured out, found all these solutions to integrate it with the studio, to integrate it with Pro Tools, and do, really put out quality broadcast, So it's going real well, and being on shows like yours is a gift that just falls in your lap. You go, whoa, this is fantastic. We get to kind of learn how to do this,
Yeah, it's always every show is an experiment, and you try to improve every time you do something because there's something. Everything's always changing. That's what's kind of fun about this is that it's all so new that all the companies and everything's changing so quickly to try to keep up with what everyone's doing because virtual isn't going away anytime soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you guys are working on some shows. Do you want to talk about kind of what you've been working on since you can't be out?
I've been like you and I connected on Twitter and then YouTube, right?
Mhm.
So I've been, growing. I have a lot of followers and fans, so I've been connecting with them, and we've been doing little
Videos for
yeah,
YouTube.
In March, I started out of my home studio, the home studio acoustic series. That was my way to reach the fans and reach people. So I said, I'll just play guitar, sing songs to them, and we'll just see what happens. So I started that like second week of March and the response was, I couldn't believe it. The response was really, really way beyond what I thought was going to happen. I didn't have any expectations. I just wanted to see what's going to happen. But I had to connect with people. And so that was the first step. So I started that, and the response was so good, and it started growing my YouTube channel. And I started realizing, wow, people like me just standing here playing a guitar. What the heck is that all about? I've been in bands all my life, So I said, heck, I'm just going to go solo now. But
Why not?
And keep Big Rain to keep the band, but so it just took off, and I said, well, gosh, this is really cool. So he saw a few of them.
Yeah.
He said, hey, that's
Absolutely.
pretty good, Bruce, but he's the techie guy. So because so I realized that we could combine our efforts and create our own shows. And so now here we are, doing it again. So,
Yeah,
and
it's
moving
fun,
to
all the
Nashville.
collaboration that you can you don't realize the people you'll meet through this and the people that you need and who kind of find you and gravitate towards you to be like, hey, I want to be involved in that.
Yeah, it's a blast. And I realized that a long time ago, about 10 years ago, something I always wanted to do. I've actually, you wanted to be do a show ever since you were young, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every 8-year-old, I wanted to be a talk show host.
Yeah. I wanted to be a baseball player or a singer, or both,
Yeah.
But, we all have our dreams when we're children. We just have to try to grow up and make them happen. But so I kind of lost my train of thought. But so we're evolving it. We're gonna start. We're gonna do a lot of pre-roll videos. Now we're gonna bring our game up in the video world and the promotion world of that. And then we're going to do more live shows. And we started doing them, and then we've upgraded the home studio acoustic series. So we're going to keep that series. But then we want to evolve it into a show called the Big Rain Cafe, which is a title of one of my albums, but I've always had that. My idea 10 years ago was to create the Big Rain Cafe as a show place, but it was an online show place. Because I'm not going to get a TV show on Channel 4 or whatever it is, So I just figured, let's go online. And I thought that was the future 10 years ago. And I'd been threatening for all this time to do it. And then when COVID hit, I had a real reason to do it. I mean, I didn't have to think about booking tours and managing a band, and I could just focus on the internet and that world out there. And I discovered that it's much bigger than I realized.
Yeah. It's the actual world that's out there. That's the scary part.
It's the actual world. It's real people doing real things, and it's just you have to figure out how to connect with them.
Yeah.
And,
The other thing we're figuring out is a lot of what we ultimately we want to bring other musicians in, but of course, my studio has a capacity. Right now, we can only put 2 people in it because of the current California restrictions. I got 2 rooms, got 1 person per room.
COVID.
Because of COVID. Ultimately, we want to be able to bring other people. The room's big enough to distance, but sometimes the way to do it is bring things in virtually, bring in backing tracks, bring in other stuff. So we can do anything from a full production to an acoustic production like we did today. So we're trying to figure out how do we get the elements and how can we make this as real for everything as possible.
Yeah, we want it to evolve. We want it to be a show that evolves, that people stick with it. They see new people come in and out. They hear new music. I really feel that the world needs more new songs. And I know there's a lot of songwriters out there thinking, oh, the world doesn't need another new song. But I disagree. I think if you have something in your heart and you have to share it, that's the way to share with people. And if it's real and honest, I think that's what people are starving for. They want real, honest people connecting with them on different levels. And
that's the beauty of the arts. And if you're feeling it, someone else probably is as well. So
that's right. Yeah.
Even if it's one person you connect with, that person probably needs it.
That's right. That's right.
How can people best support you guys right now?
In the future, one way we could be supported is because we've lost most of our revenue streams. I don't have the dates I can play. They can go online to bruceguynn.com and get some CDs and download some music. They can also, when we start our shows, we can try to do. We don't want to do that right away, but we want something that does create value. So if people can help support it, if people like it and they want to support it, they can send us a little money through PayPal or whatever while the show is on. They can go to the store and get some CDs. That kind of support would be helpful.
We might have to come back when we kick off the live show series. So.
Listen, I'm available. You tell me when you're here. You have a link, so just anytime you want to pop in, just pop in and say hi. You're always booked every week. One last question, and then I'll let you go because you probably want to go back to bed. But do you think...
Always get breakfast.
That's true. Get some coffee, and then maybe we'll see how your day goes. But do you think that we're ever going to go back to a completely in-person thing with music and the arts, or do you think there's always going to be a virtual element now?
I think there will always be a virtual element after this. I think it's the live element is still going to exist because people like to see live music. They like to be. The reason why a live show is so important is it allows people to go to a place, come together as a group of people without any political or social divides, and just enjoy the moment through the music and be together. And because music brings people together, that's an important element of why we're here. The idea is to bring people together so that we can come together and communicate and connect on different levels. It's more important to do that and spread kindness than it is to get into all this political fights, And so I kind of see myself as the messenger for the other way of doing it, Let's come together. Let's support each other. Do something kind for somebody today. Don't ask for anything back. Just do it, and you'll feel better about yourself. If it doesn't work the first couple times, keep trying.
Keep trying. Yeah.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
And till you start to see that it's not all about you.
Yeah.
And so that's really, really important message for us to get these days. I feel that in my heart because we're all worried about what's going to happen to us next. But It's amazing that when you give your heart to somebody else and try to help somebody out of a situation, you forget about all that and you just grow as a person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
It's
so
yeah.
that's the main thing. So you have to have that element. But I do feel this is the future. I feel that if you are an artist like myself and you write songs and you don't want to compete with 1,000 booking agents and all that stuff, and you just want to go direct to your audience and you want to continue it and you want to build that and continue to expand, the internet's the way to go if you are a songwriter. Because there are way more people out there that want to hear new music than people realize. And all the record labels, they don't have a clue. I'm sorry. But
They better get on board really quickly.
they'll get on board really, really fast. But, you know, so I think it's a future. I really do.
Yeah. Well, it's why I try to have music in every episode of the show, because I think it completely changes it changes my day. I listen to music all day long, so I try to start the show with music because I think it really sets the tone for your entire day.
Yeah.
So I thank you both for starting the day with me, and I appreciate it so much.
Well, thanks for having us
Thank you
here.
very
This
much
is
for
great.
having us. We really
Thank
enjoyed
you. We will be right back with Izzy Anderson. Thanks, guys.
it. All right.
Thank you.
Lick Honest Ice Creams. Know what you're licking, y'all. Made in Austin, Texas since 2011. Unique flavors inspired by what's in season locally. Go Vegan San Antonio, a vegan comfort food truck located at The Block in San Antonio. Rebel Designs, handcrafted sterling silver jewelry designed by Shelley, inspired by nature. The right fit, style, makeup, and fitness, taking the stress out of getting dressed.
I'm going to need you to pay attention and then order this book as soon as we're done with this interview, because it's going to make a great holiday gift, and or just a gift really anytime. Birthdays, anything that's coming up. You need to get this book from my friend Izzy Anderson. Hi, Izzy.
Hello. How are you?
How are you?
I am awake. And look, Richard, look what I did.
Yes. Look at that mug, everyone. Look at that mug. No big deal. No big deal. But if you're gonna promote me, I'm gonna promote you. I want to put your book cover up here. There you go, Princess Hallie and the Intergalactic Marvelous Carriage. Say that 5 times quick. Tell everybody about this book, please.
Richard tries spelling intergalactic. Let me tell you, I didn't know how to spell that before this book, and now I'll never mess up. Princess Hallie and the Intergalactic Marvelous Carriage. It's about my niece, Hallie. She is a spirited little kid, and sometimes she likes to sneak around and not always tell the truth. So in this book, Hallie borrows Zoe's marvelous carriage and goes to the moon to visit her friend Penelope. And she brings her friend Penelope back, her alien friend, back to Earth, and all these crazy things start happening.
And this is a continuation of the first book, or is this completely different from the first book?
So they both are about, my first children's book, Princess Zoe and Her Marvelous Carriage, is the first one. It's all the same characters. So Zoe, Hallie, my brother King Nicholas is in both books. So it features all the same people, but you don't have to have either one to understand what's going on.
I mean, you should have both of them, but you don't need them. You don't have to start with one and go to the other.
Exactly.
How did the concept of you're an artist, you're a musician, you're like a quadruple threat, but what made you decide, hey, I need to write a children's book?
So it started with Zoe's book, and she was, picked on in kindergarten for what she was wearing. And so I decided I wanted to find her a children's book about it, and I just couldn't really find anything. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just write a children's book and illustrate it for her. That's no big deal, right?
Yeah.
A lot of work. So, having 2 nieces, I knew for sure I'd have to do now the second one this year for Hallie. And then, of course, I was at an author event this weekend, and a friend of mine says, well, you need to do a trilogy. Probably the girls need an adventure together. So there might be one more.
For next Christmas, maybe. How did your nieces react to being characters in a book, having a book written about them. That's pretty awesome.
They love it. So Zoe, when she found out, well, she came to I had a book signing in Missouri where they live, and she was like, "What are we doing at the library?" And they're like, "Aunt Izzy." And then I was like, "Oh, hey, look, I made you this book." So she was really surprised. She was very excited. So she had to take it to school right away. She snuck it in her backpack without telling anybody. So she read it to her whole class.
Oh.
And then I called my brother. This was on Friday. I called my brother to talk to him. And I said, "Hey, can you look up?" I couldn't remember. It'd been a while since I'd signed a book. And I was like, "Can you remind me how I signed inside Zoe's book? Did I sign it this way or this way?" And he's like, "Well, they both asked if they could take their copies of their books to school today to have to show it now that they're in the next, grade. Now they want to, have them read again."
Oh my God. And then they're signing autographs. They're probably like signing the book. Come on, that's so cute.
Adorable. So then Hallie doesn't know that her book is released. So hers will be a surprise as a Christmas present.
Was there ever a moment where she was like, "Well, where's my book?"
No, not yet, actually, which is weird. She has not asked.
I would have that would have been the first thing I asked. Would have been like, "Excuse me, I'd like to be a part of that." So what was it like? You not only wrote it, but you illustrated it. So was there ever a moment where you thought you were going to get an illustrator, or were you like, "I'm doing this completely on my own"?
I knew from the beginning, like, it was really important to me that, like, Zoe looked like Zoe and Hallie looked like Hallie, and they, had their favorite colors in their bedrooms. My poor brother, I texted him all the time. Oh, and I said, "Hey, can you take a picture of your living room? But I need it from this angle, and then from your kitchen from this angle." So the poor guy, he's taken so many, reference photos for me, but it was really important that it had all those little hidden elements, and their dog Sperry's in one of the books, and so
you could do like a photo, like a coffee table book of the photos that your brother, like a behind the scenes little documentary.
There was, and there's definitely some goofy ones too. I asked them for, at the end of each book, it has a real life photo of them, of their family. And this year they had sent one, and they're all like, making crazy faces that I was tempted to put that one in the book.
This year they were like, "Wait, we need to get this professionally done. We know what this is going to mean for us. We're celebrities now."
Mm-hmm.
What was the hardest part about the whole process for other people who are thinking about writing their own books? Like, what did you learn?
Each time, now that I've just released my second book, each time I've really learned a lot. A lot of times it's in the publishing side of things, like making sure that I'm clear enough on the margins. I don't cut off the images, or, that I leave enough room for the text here and there, so being strategic with how it's not only artistic, but it has to be functional to include text. And that's always a challenge for me, is I'm constantly having to, Photoshop down or up to edit those things in later, because I think about the art first.
Yeah. For the first book, you were doing book signings and going out to all bookstores. So we're in a little different of a world right now. I don't know if you know that or not, but what's the promotion plan like for this book? You just said you were doing a book signing. I'm sure you're doing all the precautions and everything, but like, how do you navigate that world now, besides coming on my show?
I know it's been really challenging. It's been, honestly, I didn't think I initially wasn't going to do anything. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, no, I've got to do something. But yeah, it's been a bummer, because I like having, being at book signings, you get to meet new people and talk with new people. And that was a lot of fun. People really enjoyed, especially at my very first book signing, people were like, "Oh, we feel honored to get to buy a book from an author at her first," like, that was a thing they really liked about it. So that's been sad, is just meeting new people because of it, Yeah.
How has the reaction been to the book, since there isn't really something like this out there? It's it's a need. It's a huge need here to talk about bullying. Have you had any stories of of from parents or from kids about what the book means to them?
Yeah, it's cute. Some of my students are like, "Your book is my favorite book," because I teach piano lessons. So of course they like to tell me, "Oh, Miss Izzy, your book is my favorite." Or I've had a few parents message me too that have said, it opened it sort of opened the door to have a conversation about bullying and if they've been bullied. And in Zoe's book, in the first book, there is an additional resources page for parents and teachers that I did pull resources that I used for the book. That also had a lot of good insight as well, because there's only so much I can cover in a kid's book, but I wanted people to have access to everything.
I love that. That's such a smart addition to the book. What age range would you say that the books are for?
I mean, Hallie loves it, and she was 5 when the first book released, all the way up to Zoe's 9, and she still, thinks it's cool and takes it to school. So I would say anywhere in there, I like there are some big words in there, so they get to learn a lot of new words, and so that's sort of the fun. I'm sure they'll all learn how to say intergalactic very soon.
Listen, even as an adult, it's not the easiest word to come out of your mouth at 10 a.m. I was going to say that I gave the first book last year to a lot of my friends who have very young kids. But I think it's also a great thing to start, even if they don't necessarily understand it right now, to open up that conversation, like you said, and to start reading about it and to start knowing about it, because it's out there. I have friends who have, 4-year-olds who are getting bullied. It's so crazy to me. It's so crazy that, and as someone who grew up getting bullied, like there was nowhere to go to talk about it, so I love that you now have given people this resource.
Yeah.
I love it. Where can people buy your book?
So it's on Amazon. You can also go to my website, izzysart.com. If you go there, it's actually it's right on the first header, and it'll take you right to my square.
And are you doing signed copies this time?
Everything on my website, if you go to izzysart.com, everything is a signed copy there. If you order through Amazon, it won't be. I would hopefully be able to get them shipped to you before Christmas. If you live here in San Antonio, there is a book event this Sunday. 2:45 to 4:45 this Sunday at Blinded by the Light. So if you are in San Antonio, please come by. You can get your copies then.
Do you have an event for that?
I do. It's on Facebook.
Okay, good. I'll take that and I'll put it in the comments so people can look it up, and I'll put your website in the comments so you can do that. Izzy Anderson, you are amazing. I love you. You're super talented and you're an amazing person.
Well, thank you for having me, Richard. I love being on here.
This is what I love about the show. I get to talk to a bunch of amazing people, and my day is so much better because of it. It's a very selfish show I have here. It's really about me feeling better. All right, Izzy Anderson, everyone, go get her book. Princess Hallie and the Intergalactic Marvelous Carriage is, of course, the name of the book. We will be right back after this little break.
Balls. Funny name, serious plant power, healthy whole food goodness in one single bite. Wineria SA. Let's enjoy some great vino together. Let's do a virtual wine tasting, enjoy exclusive artisan wines, and join the club. Neon Castaway. Handmade accessories for a colorful life. Teenus. Handcrafted, farm to cup, organic, quality. The Classic Theater, creating excellent theater in San Antonio, Texas that is relevant, diverse, entertaining, and transformative.
So my cat is usually pretty quiet during the show. She screams before the show, and then she screams after the show. She's now screaming at me over in the corner, so I'm guessing she's pretending to be my floor director and telling me to wrap it up. So we're going to get going, but first, we have to give stuff away. It's the crown of giveaways. Every time, every show, you like the show, you heart the show, you share the show, you get put in the crown. And you saw all the commercials. They all have free stuff for you, and why would you not want it? So every week, I'm going to pick something. I'm not going to cheat. Here we go. The winner this week is Constanza Ryder. I don't know why I do this, because you can't see it, but I get excited like I have to prove to you that I'm not cheating. You can't see that. Anyway, who I believe is watching, and I believe her husband has won twice. So this is what happens when you do it every week. You get put in every week, and then you win multiple times. Okay. Also, I was decorating for Christmas this weekend, and I came across this thing. I have no idea where I got it, who I got it from, but I think it's the best thing I ever found. And it was brand new. I don't think there's a logo on here. Look at this. This is a stocking. I have no idea where it came from. Look at what it says. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a happy hangover. And you put wine in this thing, and it's like, where is this from? I have no idea where I got this from, but it's and I can't wait for Santa to get here and fill up my stocking. That was it. That's what I wanted to show you. That's my show today. Thank you to all my guests. Thank you for watching. Thank you for doing all the things that are going to get you in the crown of giveaways. Make sure you get Izzy's book. Make sure you download Bruce's music. Make sure you go get blankets for Christy. Christy, I'll message you and we'll figure out a time to go for coffee, all right? I love you all so much. Thank you. We'll see you next week.